Lead together, embrace change, enhance everyone's journey. The 3 core principles of SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate across North America, reinforce why we're proud to bring you CEO Lead In, the podcast featuring curated conversations with powerful women sharing their impactful wisdom. It's a self-knowledge, self-discovery, and self-preneurship audio storage vault created by and for women. SmartStop's presentation of CEO Lead In begins right now.
Have you ever felt that you as a woman may not appear to measure up when you see incredible women in strong roles? You may be surprised when hearing from women in these positions and how we all share many of the same challenges. Thank you for joining us for the CEO Leading In podcast with Rebecca Jones as we share the journeys of women.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Jones, your host of CEO Lead In. We are on an exploration together to discover more about the personal journeys of incredible women in both career and life. We all have paths to share that sometimes take incredible turns, deep resilience, and courage to navigate. My hopes are that the challenges shared here encourage women to take leaps of faith and growth when a journey feels too difficult or unachievable. There is great strength deep within each one of us. These stories are meant to share the ways strong women have taken their dreams to strive and thrive to new heights, despite their sometimes rocky paths, and found a way to lead in. Today, we're here with Stephanie Cook, the Executive Director of San Diego Women's Foundation. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Great. I'm very excited to hear all about what you do every day and how you got here and just how you've evolved in your career. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your organization?
Yeah. Well, the Women's Foundation is a collective giving and membership organization founded in the year 2000 with a mission to connect, educate, and inspire women to come together in collective philanthropy. And I know a lot of folks are probably, what is collective philanthropy? It's the idea that, philanthropically minded individuals can come together to make a bigger impact by pooling their philanthropic resources. So I might make a one-off contribution to a nonprofit organization or cause I'm passionate about, and that's phenomenal. We appreciate that support, but, through the Women's Foundation, we're able to make grants $200,000, $300,000 a year by pooling those philanthropic resources of our members.
Nice. So are you a member of the San Diego Foundation or affiliated in any way?
We are. We're a supporting organization of San Diego Foundation. So the Women's Foundation, we are our own 501c3 with our own board of directors, but founded as a supporting organization of San Diego Foundation and enjoy a really close relationship to this day.
And you specifically focus on nonprofits and then businesses that are women-owned.
Actually,
right?
The membership body of the Women's Foundation have historically been all women, but we make grants to nonprofit organizations, and it doesn't matter if they're run by women or focused on women's causes, although I'd say that we certainly do pay attention to folks who are, have diverse leadership, diverse board of directors, and are working to advance women in the nonprofit sector.
Wonderful. Thanks for that. So let's just go back. You as a little girl. Why don't you share a short story about your childhood that maybe no one knows about you, Stephanie?
Oh my goodness, something nobody knows about me.
Nobody knows.
Let me think. Well, I was born and raised right here in San Diego, in East County, in fact. And maybe this isn't me as such a little child, but I think one of the things that really helped me become who I am today is when I was in high school and I had, a bunch of friends who were boys from the cross country and track team. I had a friend's parent tell me that I was too loud. I was too rambunctious. And they didn't actually say it to me. They said it to somebody else and didn't know that I overheard them. Oh. So a little bit of a sad story, but, sort of part of my mission, part of, what inspires me is being a voice that tells girls that you can be loud. It's okay to be loud. It's okay to be rambunctious. You're not too much. Yeah, you're not too much. Be you. Yeah.
Where in East County did you grow up?
Lakeside.
Oh, nice.
Proper East County.
Oh, yes. So El Capitan?
That's right. That was my high school.
Nice. Okay. I'm from East County also.
Okay.
But not that far. I actually was a girl that went to 3 high schools.
Okay.
So, I went to 2 in El Cajon and then Ramona also.
Okay.
So, share with us one word that describes you the best In your mind, not someone else's mind. What do you think?
In my mind, I would say tenacious. Yeah, I mean, if I set my mind to something, I really go after it. Whether that's with my career, with my education, with rock climbing, I get out there and I work really hard to achieve what I want to achieve.
Well, there's a fun fact about you. How long have you been rock climbing?
So I actually took a little pause because I just had a kiddo. He's 7 months now, but I started rock climbing a couple of years ago, just indoor because I'm a little bit too afraid of heights to get outside and do any of the proper lead climbing. But
wait a second, you're afraid of heights and yet you rock climb. There's something behind this.
No, see, I wouldn't say I'm classically afraid of heights. You can catch me going on hikes and checking out views, hiking down the Grand Canyon. I love that kind of stuff. Indoor climbing, you never get that high, but folks who are brave enough to go conquer like the big rock faces, that kind of lead climbing, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Even just mission trails. I see the rock climbers out there on the climbers loop when I'm out on my hikes with my friends, and I think that's probably not for me, at least not yet.
Well, I'm also afraid of heights too, which is kind of funny. But I push myself to do things that kind of really terrify me, but I know that I'm safe enough and I'm not going to fall to my death.
Yeah.
So how long have you been at your current career? Just kind of jumping back into your career. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been at the Women's Foundation for about 6 years, and then just in the nonprofit space, only about 8.
Okay.
Just since I moved back to San Diego from a brief stint in Chicago for grad school.
Oh, nice. All right. So let's talk a little bit about success and failure, because I think sometimes failure actually propels you as much as success. So why don't you share kind of what your thoughts are on that? And then maybe if you have an example, that would be great too.
Yeah, success and failure. I mean, goodness, I feel like it took me a long time to find something that I really loved. If you look at my resume and it's about 2 miles long, I've done a little bit of everything. In one of my earliest jobs, sort of post the classic, like working in the food industry or working in retail. I worked for a tech startup for a little bit of time. And I think learned a lot about what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. I think there's a lot to unpack there about the skills that I sort of tested and allowed myself to grow in when I was younger, based on maybe some of the things that I internalized about what a girl's supposed to be and how, what a girl's supposed to be good at and want to do. But I'd say, in terms of success, for me, just finding a passion, finding folks who wanted to support me in my passion, figuring out something that I wanted to do every day of my life, and then being that tenacious person I am and going for it.
I think you trying new things is really important, because a lot of people are afraid to do that. They're like, oh, no. And even when you go to school, you're like, oh, this is what I want to do. Not trying those internships before you actually settle on a major. You get all this experience, you get educated in one thing, and then you get into it and you're like, oh, I hate it. And you're afraid to try something different.
Oh, totally.
You can tell when someone is very, very unhappy in their job. There's just nothing worse or painful than to have a coworker that's like that, or someone that, isn't intentionally trying to seek happiness in their job. And it makes such a huge difference.
It really does.
Yeah. Not even just that one person in their life. It affects the entire organization.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah. And I think, encouraging other people to try different things is really important, as far as, hey, you know what? You don't like it? Get out.
Yeah.
Get out while you're young. Don't spend 20 years doing the same thing and you don't like it.
Absolutely. I think people are understandably afraid of giving up, that, oh, I've invested this much time in something I can't change, because that would be giving up. And I think that's maybe not the right way to look at things. Sometimes we make mistakes. Things don't work out for us. It's not the right path, and it's okay to start over and sort of take your life lessons from the things that work and the things that don't work, and figure out where you're really meant to be.
Well, let's explore that for 1 second. Give up or give in?
Yeah.
Is giving in better? Probably not. I mean, if you're going to be miserable, I would argue no.
No.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about measuring how you're feeling in balancing. This is such a tough thing, I think, for women, because we say, okay, well, as a woman, we should be doing this, this, and this, because we have our old ingrained gender roles, and then we want to do something else. Mm-hmm. How do you balance things?
I mean, well, yes, I think that the whole conversation about women wanting to do it all or needing to do it all, or feeling like, especially for me in this new chapter of my life where I'm a mom, wanting to be sort of super mom and have this career that I love, but also serve on nonprofit boards and have a robust social life and raise a well-rounded kiddo. It's not possible, with sort of the boundaries that we exist in and working a 9 to 5. It's not really possible to do it all, and that's okay. I think figuring out what is most important to you and prioritizing those things
in your life.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily what looks right in someone else's life.
Totally.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. And, my kids are 24 and 28 now. I felt like a lot of times I was doing such a great job. And then there were other moments where I was like, I'm the worst. This is not working out. I'm not doing a good job. So, don't you think we're kind of hard on ourselves in that way?
I think we are, and I think we also compare ourselves to others. You look around and you see, I'm certainly guilty of this. I have a friend who I always tell her she's super mom. She's doing everything. Her kids are in all of the sports and dance classes, and she's got, art and craft things planned for them on the weekend. She's taking them out to parks, and I always tell her, she's super mom, and really she is, and I adore her. But I think, her reality and my reality, they're different. We can't compare ourselves to others. I think doing our best is better than doing the best.
Let's explore that. And what I want to actually bring up, because it feels so fitting right now. You look in a magazine, they're, at the grocery stores, you go, oh gosh, look, they're doing everything that I want to do. Oh, let's even talk about social media. Mm-hmm. You see people that are seemingly doing everything that you go, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I think I can do that, but I'm failing at it. It's not even a reality.
No, it's not.
It really is not a reality.
It's
ahead.
very curated.
Curated.
People are, I'm not going to take a picture of me at my worst and put it on social media. I'm guilty of it too. Everybody's putting their best self online. What you're seeing in the magazines, what you're seeing in the newspapers, that's, the best version of somebody. And so I really don't think it's fair to hold yourself to those standards. But I understand that it's hard, when you look at magazines and you see these images of just what seem to be like flawless women with these incredible careers and these perfect families. And, especially if you're talking about celebrities, these are people who also probably have a whole host of folks who are helping prepare food and take care of their children. And maybe they are doing it all, but maybe they're doing it with a lot more support than you have. So comparing yourself, not being too hard, I think that's so important.
Well, and then sometimes too, that kind of morphs into a mean girl attitude. And, let's talk about that for a moment. Have you ever experienced mean girl?
I think everybody has experienced mean girls.
Yes.
I think, I don't like to sort of buy in or believe in like the catty girl stereotype, because I do think sometimes it's overblown and it's people, assuming that when women are coming together and maybe gossiping, they're just putting a different label on it than they would if it was men coming together and doing it. But I think we've all been the victims of quote unquote mean girls before. And I don't know, I think sometimes it's people wanting to fit in. So, chiming in and picking on people because it's a way to make yourself feel part of a conversation or feel better than somebody else. But it's not healthy. It's not good for anybody. So I'd love to see, no mean girls, no mean boys, no mean anyone.
Well, no, definitely. And, I think at the end of the day, there's always going to be someone that is more what you perceive as beautiful, successful, flawless, as you mentioned, dresses better, successful, all of those things. But when do we find that we're enough? And that I guess, because we're all different. And, I mention this quite frequently, and that is a community, which is, a lot of different people that live either communally or in a region or something like that. Well, when I say communal, not in the same actual house, but, like in a community, you're always going to have someone that you have a perception of has something different or better or whatever. But I think the beauty of us is that we're diverse and we're different. We're not the same. And we have all of our different gifts. And it's okay. We're enough, right? And so when you're talking to, people that you work with and that sort of thing, do you ever have these conversations where one of your employees has come up and said, I'm really struggling because of this? I don't know. Do you?
Oh, I mean, sure. I think, to that point about comparing ourselves to others, I really do believe the grass is always greener on the other side. When you have conversations with somebody and you think, oh my gosh, I want what she has. And then if you have an opportunity to have a conversation with that person, you might be surprised to have them say, well, I'd really love to be where you're at.
Right.
But certainly, in the nonprofit space, I have colleagues who have taken time off work to raise their children. And in conversations with those folks, it's, I want what you have. You're leading this incredible nonprofit. You have this career that you love. Well, there's plenty of people who are in a career that they love, but wish they had more time to spend with their kiddos.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think there is no one perfect. And I don't know what it is, but people never seem satisfied. And I think there's things that we are rightfully dissatisfied about, but sometimes just a sense that we need more and we need better. And maybe that isn't the case.
We're gonna come back because I actually have something to say about that, but we're actually going to take just a minute to listen to our amazing sponsor.
SmartStop knows the winning connection is when we elevate success together. SmartStop Self-Storage, a California company with nearly 200 properties and over 15 million square feet of rentable storage in the US and Canada, is committed to positively impacting the communities we serve on the national and local level. By aligning our core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey with local initiatives focused on education, health, and social welfare, we all elevate together. Through financial and strategic partnerships with nonprofits and prestigious organizations such as Cloudcast Media, Arrow McLaren IndyCar, Breast Cancer Research Foundation, Wounded Warrior Project, USC Athletics, the Brampton Steelheads, MMA fighters and boxers, and other unique athletes, we aim to foster a sense of unity and pride within the communities we serve, creating a shared identity and generating a positive atmosphere. To learn more about our core values, our locations, and career opportunities, please visit us at smartstopselfstorage.com. SmartStop, elevating success together.
So I guess the point that I would like to make is we all have struggles. We all have things that you can't see from the outside. You might not even know what someone's going through.
Absolutely.
And that's making preconceived notions based on the outward appearance and not necessarily what's going on. I don't know. I mean, most people that I speak to, they've had a lot of struggles with their families, with themselves, with their childhoods. I mean, everyone has something. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can't think of anybody who's had a
Exactly.
perfect childhood, a perfect adulthood even.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we're all, there's people who are struggling greater at any one moment in time or facing challenges that I can't even comprehend, but we absolutely all have our struggles.
Totally agree with that. So let's talk a little bit about you're a leader. You deal with a lot of men. Do you ever have any situations where you struggle with dealing with them, or just the difference? Men and women are different, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to a question of like nature and nurture, right? There's gender norms that we are all told from a very young age, and I think it takes a lot to unpack them. I have found that throughout my career, I've found that men who are leaders have tended to be sort of authoritative or very dominant personalities, and have maybe not looked at women with those same traits as kindly, or not seen women as leaders because maybe we don't possess those same traits, and maybe that's because nobody ever told us it was okay to be dominant and it was okay to be loud and it's okay to be a leader. But yeah, I'd say, over the course of my career, I have had countless moments where I've come up against a wall and I have to ask myself, is this a struggle because of me and my work ethic and my performance, or is this a struggle because somebody's perceiving me as weaker or less than because I'm a woman? And certainly, I mean, you look at the nonprofit sector, right? The Women's Foundation's a nonprofit organization. 75% of the nonprofit workforce is women. Do you think women are 75% of nonprofit leaders? 75% of nonprofit boards? We are not. And, even if you look at pay scales, the average male CEO makes 27% more than the average woman CEO. And the nonprofit organizations that men are running, the average revenue of a nonprofit that's run by a male CEO, it's double. It's like $12 million in revenue versus $6 million for the average woman CEO. So yeah, even in the nonprofit sector, we exist to support the community, to address challenges, and we still struggle as a sector.
What was that number again between, was it 6 million versus
6
12?
million, yeah, and this is very recent data. Candid has been collecting this data over the course of several years, and just a few months ago, Harvard Business Review they helped digest some of the data. But yeah, 12 million versus 6 million.
I actually had a conversation with a woman in the nonprofit sector. She said sometimes when she's asking for, asking for donations and that sort of thing, she actually feels like sometimes it gets a little weird when she's asking for money from men. Mm-hmm. Have you had that?
I've had similarly awkward conversations. I think sometimes where mine has come from is this tendency to view the Women's Foundation or Women's Philanthropy, Women's Collective Giving as like just women's work. It's just like women out here with passion projects, giving to charity and not really taking the work that we do and the impact that we've had seriously.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Huh. I actually didn't even think about that. But do you think that other women that are out there in the nonprofit sector, when they're not labeled kind of a women's organization, do you feel like that's a little bit different or no?
Oh, I think that it's still a challenge. I mean, you look at which organizations women are the CEOs of, and you look at funding and how it's distributed to different organizations. Men tend to be CEOs of the big educational or medical, nonprofit organizations and institutions. Women are by far running sort of the more grassroots, underfunded organizations. And if you get a chance to read that Harvard Business Review article, I think they even talk in there a little bit about how sometimes women applaud when a man joins their team in a sector where men are vastly outnumbered, because they think it'll lend credibility to their development efforts, that folks might be more comfortable, a man engaging in conversations about donations with another man.
That's
heartbreaking.
Crazy.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when you, I think that women actually make very good leaders. Mm-hmm. I don't think you have to be overbearing and strong.
No, you do not.
In leadership. I think the collaboration that women bring to the table and the sometimes very firm but softer approach actually gets people to come along in a greater effort. Don't you think?
I agree. I think one of the changes that I'm really excited to have seen a little bit in the sort of discourse when I was, getting my degree in women's studies at SDSU all those years ago, I remember, reading articles about how women who are authoritative or this or that are perceived really negatively, and a man saying and doing the exact same thing was viewed very positively. That's shifted. More recent studies have shown that, people rank male and female leaders equitably when they're displaying similar behaviors. And also, I think we've come to a place where now if you look up what are the top traits of a leader, you're going to see things like empathy and humility and some of these, quote, soft or traditionally feminine traits. But I think what makes a good leader is bringing your authentic self to the table, whatever that is. And if you're the right leader for that cause, that organization, that moment, then bringing your truest self is really what's going to serve you.
Compel people to come along with you. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about mentors. Mm-hmm. Do you have any that you can just point back and go, man, they really helped me. They really helped shape me.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'd say that I have some, role models. Of course, I've got to say my mom. My mom was really the one who instilled in me a love of volunteerism. She was very present in my early childhood, volunteering in my classroom. She was always the chaperone on school field trips. And I would say that really inspired me to be a volunteer and be part of my community. But in terms of role models, Doreen Mattingly, who was my women's studies professor and then later research advisor and now a friend at SDSU in their women's studies department. I really have her to thank for my career, for my feminism, for my passion for social justice. She believed in me, encouraged me to go to grad school, helped me get my first job in the nonprofit sector. I truly wouldn't be who I am or where I am without her.
Are you still in touch with her?
I absolutely am. She's retired now and has become a phenomenal painter. Oh. So I just had a chance to see some of her artwork on display at the San Diego Fair. But yes, I've been lucky to stay in touch with her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. I actually have a mentor like that too. And I just love catching up with her and just seeing what she's doing. And, you know, she had a really rough year. Her husband passed away last year, but you know what? She's just sticking it in there and she's just, you know, enjoying her grandkids and her great grandkids, which is great to see. So, you know, we all have our seasons in life where we, you know, give back and spend more time doing things and then change. And I love that your mentor actually became now a painter.
Yeah.
That's really
she's amazing.
Fun. That's really fun. So let's talk about lessons learned and what you walk into a room of young women and you say to them, this was so compelling to me. What would that be as far as a lesson learned and how to apply it?
I would say probably the most important lesson for me is to not limit yourself to those gender norms. That's something that I really learned in those classes with Doreen in my women's studies program, starting to unpack a lot of what I thought a girl or a woman was supposed to be. And the messages I heard growing up, I think I learned a lot about who I am and have had to do some deep soul searching to figure out, outside of everything that I was told that I was supposed to want and be and do, who really am I? So my lesson to the next generation would be to, you know, try not to buy in. I know it's difficult because we live in a world where people are going to tell you who you should be and what you should do, but to unpack and question those norms when people are trying to limit you and really follow your heart, figure out who you want to be and go after it. Be tenacious.
You used a word earlier, authentic. I think authentic and coming to the table as who you are is so important because so many people respect that. And, you know, a lot of people, like we talked about earlier, try to hide behind what they see as a norm or, oh, this is what I'm supposed to look like. This is what I'm supposed to act like. I actually was, I go to this Chamber of Commerce thing in Carlsbad and I talk to leaders about politics. I am technically a politician, but I consider myself more of a civic leader. But I actually always say the same thing. Don't let anyone tell you how to do your job, what to say, all of that. Be who you are. And I actually recently had someone come to me and say, you know what, here I am 2 years later, it was 2 years ago, I'm running for office. And that in itself meant so much to me. And I had no idea that actually it would happen, that I have all these people telling me this, telling me that. And she said, but I remember those words and it has helped me so much stay on my path because my path is mine. Don't you think that we need to share that more with other young women? Because there's so much pressure from the outside. You could easily become something different than who you are.
Absolutely. And I mean, I would completely agree. I think that, you know, some of the things that I heard early on in my career about how a leader's supposed to act, how you're supposed to engage with your staff or with the community or this face that you're supposed to put on, that didn't serve me. And so I let it go. And I think bringing my authentic self to the table, I have an incredible relationship with my staff, with my board of directors. I have trust with, you know, community leaders, which is not easy to build when you're a grant-making organization, a philanthropic organization, but I think I really bring my true, honest, authentic self to the table, and people see that, and I think maybe feel more compelled to engage in honest dialogue, and then we can help each other and become better because there's that sense of trust there that wouldn't be there if I was putting up a face and trying to be this perfect version of myself that does not exist.
So you said 2 words. I actually have a third that goes with that, I think, and I think it does actually follow exactly what you're saying. Authentic, trust. No, wait, you didn't say trust.
I did.
Oh yeah, trust. but also being honest and being able to cultivate all of that together. It all fits together as one. And, you know, when you have a good reputation of being trustworthy because you've done all of that, spent all of that time and effort just being who you are and tailoring that to your job, I think it makes a big difference, because then you have a reputation of being honest, trustworthy, and, you know, I think the sky's the limit when you have those things.
Absolutely.
And especially in your business too, because, you know, if you're not doing what you say you're going to do, then you're going to ruin that reputation.
Absolutely.
So, what's next for you? I'm excited. What's next for you? Anything new coming up? Any new plans? Or?
Well, you know, I'm still happily at the Women's Foundation. We just recently won an award that we're very proud of.
Do tell.
We were honored by National Conflict Resolution Center as their 2024 Philanthropy in Peacemaking awardee, which is really a testament to our members and how eager they are to learn and embrace change and build a grants process that really, truly serves the community. So I think just continuing in that work at the Women's Foundation, I'm so honored to serve in a role where I get to be part of really important change and help, you know, encourage philanthropy to be a little bit better, do a little bit better, really serve the community. The Women's Foundation is getting ready to celebrate 25 years. Our 25th anniversary is coming up. So we'll have, you know, lots of news, events, exciting stuff coming along. And me personally, I'm just raising that kiddo that I had 7 months ago.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about the celebration. Is it going to be something that you'll be inviting the community to? And
Absolutely.
I think it would be a good way for you too to, you know, attract more donors. And this is showcasing the work that we're doing and, you know, all of that. I think that would be very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we, aside from being a grant-making organization, which is incredibly important, the Women's Foundation really sees ourselves as a resource to the community, whether we're putting on a, you know, philanthropic event, raising money for a cause, an educational event, social event. All of our events are really meant to be open doors. Anybody from the community can attend. But our annual grant celebration is sort of our big event where we spotlight the work of some incredible nonprofit organizations, release our grant funds for the year. It's educational, it's emotional, it's sensational. So in June of next year, we'll be having our 25th annual grant celebration.
Oh, so exciting. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you and hearing all about you. And then, you know, the conversation was great. So thank you for your energy. Thank you for your excitement. You can definitely tell you love what you're doing.
I sure do. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Now that was powerful. We hope you've been lifted and encouraged by today's inspiring voice. Always remember that life doesn't look exactly the same for each one of us. Never stop dreaming, striving, and thriving. In future episodes, we look forward to bringing you powerful stories from amazing women who learned how to lead in to challenges. Thank you for listening and being part of our community with CEO host Rebecca Jones.
The incredible curated CEO conversation you just enjoyed was brought to you by SmartStop, a leader in self-storage real estate and a company that upholds its core principles of leading together, embracing change, and enhancing everyone's journey. To learn more about SmartStop, please visit smartstopselfstorage.com.
Cloudcast Media.